Calling in. Welcome. If you haven't seen the show, so I Love Crypto. We've been at Consensus. This is day two. We're just going to do a little recap. It's going pretty well so far.
It's going really good. There's a huge buzz in the air, a lot of super exciting stuff. Obviously, we talked about yesterday, the attendance is off the hook, but a lot of really cool projects that I've seen.
Yeah, and there's some really kind of small unknown projects. Like they're on no radar. Like no videos, no Medium posts. Like
Yeah.
they're not even like and what's really cool is there's some projects that they're not even an ICO. They're just building, applications like we've
Yeah.
talked about. They don't need a token.
Yep.
And they did a little private sale funding, but they're really cool tools that the space needs.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, there's a lot of tools that you can't really find or projects you can't find. And really, it's only boots on the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
only being here, talking to these people, getting introduced to other people, can we find out about these special deals.
And you were in the security regulation one. What did you think of that?
Yeah, so there was one today. It was with the CFTC, SEC, the head of Bittrex, who's a former prosecutor and a former. He not only was he a former prosecutor, he was also a former developer at Microsoft. So he's got both sides. So that was a really big piece. I was super interested in that because regulations is a massive piece to this whole thing, and trying to navigate that and understand how it's going to affect the long-term growth. But at the end of the day, there wasn't a lot of like concrete information. However, it was very favorable. So they were very optimistic. They basically said that they were going to kind of be hands off. And really, what it sounds like is they're going to allow the industry to try to self-regulate itself. So they seem to get a grasp that old laws don't really work with the new technology, and they haven't really been able to figure out how that fits in right now. And they seem to be kind of taking a hands-off approach, even to the fact where they kind of pointed out where they've had to kind of correct a few people, like with subpoenas,
Yeah.
but they haven't been taking action.
I had a chance to talk with the CFTC for about an hour at like the dinner event, and that was pretty interesting. They seem really passionate about the space.
Yeah.
They were asking all kinds of cool questions about all kinds of different stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've proven it, right? So when the CFTC and SEC chairs talked to the Senate months ago, they both were very knowledgeable about it, and they talked very favorably about it. Like you said, you talked to them last night. We saw the Fed chair from St. Louis talk yesterday. He seemed very favorable towards blockchain. Surprisingly, I was surprised. Yeah, today all those people they seem to be very optimistic. So that's bullish. That means the industry is going to continue to grow.
It's going to mature. And
Yeah.
there's, Coinbase announced custodial protections up to
Yeah.
$10 billion in assets.
Massive.
All these things are coming together. It's really cool to see in the space. What are some of the projects you've seen that you kind of liked?
So there was one project that I talked to today. It was very simple, but I really liked it because it was a very practical application. So we've been talking about like a year ago how putting records in the blockchain, immutable blockchain records like title property or property title records. So like when you buy a house, it records the title in your name. And that was like a very practical application. We talked that would be something we'd see, and there's somebody exhibiting here doing just that. And you can literally buy a house with Bitcoin or crypto in 30 seconds, have the transaction done and recorded title in the blockchain in your name. And some states recognize that now.
And which company was that?
It was called Propi.
Propi.
And it's not super high tech. It's pretty basic, but it's a very practical application.
Simplest is oftentimes like,
Yeah.
it's a problem. They came up with a solution.
Exactly.
And I got a chance to really do a deep dive on Factom.
Yeah.
And they're hitting some crazy milestones. I was pretty excited to talk to them. I know that you wanted to really, talk to them as well.
Yeah, I missed out, so I'd love to hear what they said.
Yeah, so they got that Department of Homeland Security grant on the IoT sector, and then they got Gates Foundation.
Right.
But they just moved to a completely decentralized model.
Okay.
Before it was like, M1 was their first update, M2 was back in 2016, so M3 was like early May, and so they finally went to a completely decentralized model where it's a community-based node program. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you guys, you'll see that interview once we kind of chop up the video a little bit.
That's a really cool project, and the whole DHS IoT thing is really cool. So we'll get into that on the video. Project that I talked to that I was probably the most impressed with today There was two, but probably the one that I was most impressed with was Zencash. And I'm a big fan of privacy coins. I believe that as we can get more regulation, privacy coins will take off. However, it is going to be a battle. We know that some countries are going to want to try and fight against them. What I really like about Zencash is, one, the two co-founders are ex-military and they understand privacy really well. But also, they're more than a privacy coin. They're a privacy protocol. So they have private messaging, private storage, and all these things that other dApp developers can build on. So people can start their own Telegram, their own etc. on top of that. So really, really sharp guys, and they really get not just the tech side, they get the go-to-market strategy, which I'm a big advocate of. So I really like that project.
And they're also a Masternode coin too, which is...
They are a Masternode coin, yeah. They are a POW coin still. They're proof of work. They're set up off of Bitcoin, so it's 21 million tokens. But they do have masternodes, and now they have supernodes as well. Yeah.
Kind of a funny incident. We went outside to do an interview with Storm, and literally we were outside and we just got hit with like the biggest storm.
Yeah.
Like in a minute, like the whole sky turned gray.
Out
Dust
of nowhere.
storm, and then just like
Yeah.
drenched us while we were like trying to get this interview done, and it was just like instantly. So that was pretty funny. But
Yeah.
Storm was another project. It's been talked about a lot. It was listed on Bittrex today, but they've got some really cool updates in the works. I'm not allowed to talk about them yet.
But there's big stuff coming.
But there's big stuff coming for Storm, so that's pretty exciting. And
yeah, and then we had lunch today with some of the team from Pivx.
Oh yeah.
So we had so again, boots on the ground.
Thank you to Snappy for doing the interview, but Pivx, they've got 20 updates in the works coming soon. Decentralized privacy exchange. They just released privacy staking, so that was pretty awesome.
And they're really diving, really kind of doubling down on their marketing efforts. They're bringing on a couple core people to really amplify their marketing, which is a big piece of.
They have one of the strongest communities I've ever seen. They're called like the Purple Army, like Go Purple, but they've got like a really massive community, which is really exciting to see.
So they already have such a big community, and really, I wrote about them in December, and what I wrote about was how big their marketing team was.
Yeah.
But now they're bringing in more people to help amplify that. So expect big things out of Pivx. Plus, from what we hear on the ground, there's something really big coming soon. We don't know exactly what, but be ready for that.
And then what was another big project we interviewed today?
I talked to Swarm Fund.
The Swarm Fund.
So
what a cool concept.
It's a very cool concept as one of the biggest trends we're going to see is a move from security tokens. So potentially $20-30 trillion coming over. And so Swarm Fund is taking advantage of that. And basically what happens is you can go on Swarm Fund and I can put my my IPO, my money raise. And then people can go in and bid and put money into that. And then only once it gets filled does it get locked in, and then it issues tokens. And then if I put money in, when it gets locked in, I receive tokens for that. And then those are security tokens that then can be exchanged. So a really, really cool concept. And it's just a massive piece of the infrastructure we need to start seeing this money come in.
Yeah, this conference is a little bit different. I've been to a lot of them. I went to Miami, San Francisco, Dallas. And this conference is a little bit different in that I talked to like 90% of the ICOs at those places, and I was just like, there's no way I would invest in this.
Right, yeah.
But this one, I'm like, I want to invest in all these projects just because, they're just cool projects.
Yeah.
And like, they seem like they're solving some good problems. I haven't really seen many like crazy ICOs like I was seeing in the past.
Yeah, I agree. Each show kind of has its own theme a little bit. The last one I was at Start Engine in LA, and that one was geared towards ICOs. They help make ICOs, happen, and they were garbage. I couldn't believe it.
Sorry to anybody at Start Engine.
Sorry, I'm not calling anybody out, but when I went and talked to them, it's just like right off the bat, it's just what do you need?
No, we do need to call those out, and I don't mind saying that, right? To I'm a nice guy about it, but like I got to get into your token economics. If you can't there was one kid here. We did like an hour-long interview with him, but he's super bright, and he answered every question like to the nth degree. He's an MIT developer, worked for Microsoft, and he's launching his own ICO. But we did a few questions on some of these ICOs, and if they can't get to like the third, fourth question without stumbling, or it kind of gives you pause, and especially when they're trying to raise like 30, 40, 50 million.
For sure. And so my point was that was about ICOs, and I didn't think I didn't see anything that I liked there. However, at this show, we're uncovering lots of gems, and so far I've talked to several that I really like.
We're probably going to go into a lot of these. I mean,
we're going to have to share the information. There's just too much good stuff going on there. Oh, one I talked to today was Origin Protocol.
Yeah.
And Origin Protocol is really good. It's in pre-sale right now. I did a full interview, so I'll have all that information coming out. But really cool project in the sharing economy space, but it's a sharing economy protocol that sharing economy dApps can build on. So it's a really cool project.
And if you guys aren't familiar with the sharing economy, it's kind of like Airbnb
and Uber.
Yeah, I mean, but in Eastern culture, it's like massive. Like, I mean, they're sharing bikes, they're doing all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, I think it looks like some people were asking about Salt and Ripple. So Salt has been here. They've been super crowded. Okay. They are on our list of interviews. We're gonna get that one done tomorrow. Ripple is here. They've been making a lot of noise. I haven't talked to anybody from Ripple.
You can just, if you guys have comments, our producer will say it out loud.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Ripple. I don't know. Have you talked to anybody from Ripple?
I didn't see Ripple's booth. I mean, I know there's a party tonight. Snoop Dogg's gonna be at it. I did see the main code guy, and I'm blank on his name right now. The big guy with the long hair. He spoke yesterday at the interoperability talk. Yeah.
And he's smart. He's super smart. They were asking people to go upstairs to see a live demo of the RapidX to show how it could interoperate across multiple chains. I didn't go up there and see that though.
I mean, they're asking about tax rules. Is the IRS there?
Yeah, so that was an interesting conversation with the CFTC guy. I was just like, one of the biggest things with cryptocurrencies is, none of us want to spend it because, like we spent, probably 100 plus Bitcoin like 2016, 2017, which turned out to be, $2 million or something like that. But back then it wasn't that much money.
Right.
But when we spent it, now it's a taxable event.
Yeah.
And, I was just saying, like, our biggest thing is clarity on, these taxable events. And he said the CFTC doesn't have anything to do with that. That's the IRS and the SEC. And unfortunately, I didn't get to have a conversation with the SEC, but I'll dig into that a little bit further on the taxes side.
It's definitely a big piece. It's
still
the single
gray.
biggest piece.
It's still gray right now.
It's the single biggest piece holding things back, I think, to really mass adoption.
Yeah, because every transaction is a taxable event.
Yeah, and I don't want to have to calculate when I purchased the coin and when I bought a cup of coffee and what that gain is, right? And then have to file tax on that. So it's just not going to work.
One of my favorite projects, which is really under the radar, they didn't do an ICO, is a company called Rootstock.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get an interview yet, but I think I'm going to do one with the founder tomorrow. But Rootstock's really interesting because it's smart contracts built on Bitcoin. And so, it's basically like you put in your Bitcoin, and then it's a one-to-one swap, and you get fees based on the smart contract. Really cool concept, but it allows Bitcoin to have basically side chain smart contract scaling solutions, which is pretty cool.
There's so many good projects here, and like you said, I'm impressed by the quality of projects that we've seen.
Some of the big booths though aren't projects. They're like hedge funds. Like there's Deloitte.
There's definitely that. So we're seeing a massive push or almost takeover of the old financial guard moving in. So Deloitte
asking about Pundi X and if they're merging with Apple and if they're here.
Yeah, yep. Pundi X is here. We'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're seeing a big push of the old guard kind of making their way in for sure. So there are quite a bit of exchanges. There's a lot of institutional grade tools. So institutions are the hedge funds, the pension funds, etc. So there's a lot of institutional grade tools which are custody. So how institutions can store their coins. There's institutional grade exchanges that can handle massive volume in a really short period of time. There's institutional grade research tools and analysis. So a lot of tools catering towards that, which is good. That's bullish. That means those guys now have the tools to come in.
Yeah. we're gonna be doing a lot more interviews tomorrow with a lot more projects. PundyX is definitely one we want to talk to. I want to get over to Polymath, do another interview with them.
Polymath,
We'll talk to Salt Lending again.
Icon, Sol. This was just a recap. We have a lot more content coming out of what we've done.
Yeah,
These are all interviews that we're going to put out.
Yeah.
This is just a recap.
But yeah, day 2 was really awesome. I wish the content was a little bit more intensive, like, just like kind of digestible, kind of actionable content.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the things that I'm looking for. Lots of exchanges coming out. I mean, I talked to like 50 exchanges.
Yeah.
And there's like, tweak here, tweak there.
It's hard not to be bullish on the space when you see what's going on. I mean,
it's massive.
The amount of people, money, and tools.
I'm losing my voice.
Yeah.
Because you just get so excited talking to all these projects and these developers and stuff like that. But
and that doesn't mean the price is going to shoot up overnight, but the groundwork is being laid for this industry to grow massive.
Yeah, and it's not. Don't think that you have to like bet it all on one token.
Right.
Take some positions in projects that are building the future, like Aeon, Wanchain.
Right.
These companies that are building these interoperability layers that'll be around for a long time. I mean, these guys are building like massive, like Swarm Fund. They're like, they're not even on the radar.
They're not even on the radar. Also, NEM is here, XEM, NEM, and they have a really big presence, and they have a setup with all their dApp developers, or a bunch of the dApp developers in there, and some really cool stuff.
NEM has like this crazy booth with that's pretty cool.
Icon.
Icon interviews coming tomorrow. They've got a really cool booth. They've actually got this really cool. I can't find it right now, but they've got this really cool concept where it's about connecting, hyper connecting the world. And so what they did was they give you a little tag, and it's a 3-digit number, and then if you find the other 3-digit number person, you actually get $200 worth of Icon or ICX tokens, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw you had it on your badge.
Yeah. I forgot to tell you, but like if you find your match, you get like $200 worth of ICX, which I thought was pretty cool because it's making you like kind of like look at people's tags, like look at people's names, kind of try to connect. It's a good play on like what they're trying to do with like hyper connection and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's rad. So Icon's a great project. Both of us love it. We're gonna talk to those guys and do that interview tomorrow.
And then like a funny cap off was the CEO of Storm.
Right.
He actually was in a car accident.
Right, a week and a half ago.
And I'm a former chiropractor that specialized in car accidents, so we actually took him up here and got him adjusted, and he was like walked.
And I'll tell you, he won't tell you, but it was like a miraculous recovery. Right, he could barely walk up here, and Jacob grabbed him, and he was like, oh, in excruciating pain. And you put him. I was watching. You put him through the thing, and he was instantly like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
he could breathe. And like, oh, just pay us in the storm. It's okay.
He doesn't have access to.
He doesn't have access to.
We did not charge him that. But yeah, no. So far, it's been a great conference. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Thursday night we have Thursday night with the.
With the Crypto Influence Awards. That'll be fun. There's some really cool projects that'll be there that hopefully we'll be able to chat with.
Yeah.
But the biggest news, I think Storm's got like some really big stuff coming up. Other than that, like not like any huge announcements that
no one's gonna announce anything super big, you know.
Well, I try to get them to,
but yeah, we try, and we did hear about Pivx, we did hear about Storm. There are big things coming out. So yeah, we got our ear to the ground.
And then I think VeChain has like a pretty massive announcement coming as well.
Okay, I haven't got to talk to them yet.
There's some Reddit theories that that VeChain and Poloniex and Circle might all be announcing something together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that's
that.
all speculation.
Yeah.
That's all Reddit theories. Make sure you do your own research on that.
We'll find out more.
Any questions before we go, guys?
You said Goldman Sachs Circle USD coin. Is that happening?
I haven't seen that. I haven't looked into that.
No, I haven't heard anything about them doing a coin. Obviously, we know Goldman Sachs and Circle teamed up, bought Poloniex. There's that. We know Goldman Sachs just launched their Bitcoin trading, but I haven't heard anything about a coin.
Yeah, there's Circle Vest, where it allows you to go from fiat to crypto.
Right.
And then they bought Poloniex, which they'll be upgrading. They're releasing a new website soon and stuff like that. But
right.
Tron.
No, I haven't seen Tron.
There's no Tron. Tron just did a website redesign, which is pretty cool. Go check that out.
I haven't seen anybody from Tron.
Alivor.
the one that I'm gonna try and get to tomorrow is Nebulas. If you guys have seen my
Yeah,
show,
Nas.
you'll know that Nebulas Nas is one of my favorite projects.
I like that one too.
Robin, hopefully we can get an interview with them tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys found that helpful. We'll do a recap tomorrow, and then we'll be basically releasing all these videos. My director of photography, my editor over there, he's gonna cut all these pieces together. And
It's
it'll
gonna be good. I mean, a lot of really good content.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be stoked.
I mean, you just watch them. You'll learn all about the projects, updates, milestones, roadmaps.
the big takeaway is just that the show is massive, and the amount of money, time, projects, technology, and the people, really good people. And actually, we can talk about that. So there's
Man.
more and more people leaving Fortune 500, Goldman Sachs, to come
Everybody,
into
man.
cryptocurrency.
Like
The best people of any industry are coming into crypto.
people are leaving Deloitte. People are leaving Goldman Sachs. People
Yeah.
are leaving J.P. Morgan. I was
Right.
literally in the taxi cab yesterday, and it was like J.P. Morgan exec leaves for
Yeah.
a
So
Bitcoin fund, or just like everybody is leaving from that space to come over to this space, and it's just because it's. I mean, we're gonna crush everybody.
Yeah, so it's gonna be big.
derivatives are gonna come. I mean, there's a massive market. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share it on social media. Follow us on Twitter as well, and we'll catch you guys later.